really hung out with her one-on-one ever, I don't think.
Do you have any enemies?
I'm trying to think.
Do you have beef with anyone? Not even enemies, just like beef.
Beef. I mean, not really not that I'm upset about. I really hated Clever for a long time. I mean, but I think it doesn't upset me anymore. Like, I can look back and laugh because I'm no longer hurting from it. At the time when it was happening, I was very up in arms about it.
No, let's like set this up because this is like the thing I find most interesting, especially because you were like kind of in the middle of it. Like, I don't know why. Did you like start this? Like, was it you leaving, like igniting all this like shitstorm?
Okay, well, I mean, I always thought pre-YouTube, I always thought I was going to be an entertainment reporter. I thought I was going to be like, do you know who Jason Kennedy and obviously Ryan Seacrest, but I always thought that was my destiny, like
E-News.
Reading the teleprompter, the news of the day. And because I enjoy celebrity gossip, I actually really do, for some reason, care and want to talk about it. I think it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
So then I got a job working. Am I supposed to look at you?
No, you can look at anywhere. I mean, I always put clips online. You can look anywhere.
Okay. So
I love that you're a YouTuber.
I was like, wait.
You're interviewers. You should know.
Well, yeah. So I did do that for a long time. But so, what was I talking about?
You were talking about like how that Clever and you wanted to be, you like the gossip. You wanted to be E-News.
Right. So, but where were we circling around to? So I was working at Clever, and then for a long time I was just freelance while I was still waiting tables, and then once they finally brought me on full time, they never really put me in the full-time position that all of the girls were because the executive producers were men. So I felt like it was sexist or like sexism in the reverse role. It was weird because all of the girls, they got all the good shows, like if they wanted to pitch a new show idea, they would get a budget for it. And I always had to fight my way into everything. So I felt like, but a lot of the talent were always championing me.
Oh, yeah. They were like, loved you.
Yeah. But so when I decided to leave, I was just burnt out because I had pitched them so many show ideas and I had tried to like grow with them and they just weren't allowing me to do so. And at this point I was with Shane and he could see that I was burnt out and I just wasn't growing and I needed a creative outlet. So he just said, well, why don't you try doing a YouTube video for fun? And I wasn't doing this as a business move or anything. Right. I just needed something to be creatively fulfilled because it was so step and repeat every day for me. And then that kind of took off. I did a video, it did well. And then I kept making videos and I started making more money than I made at Clever on YouTube. Yeah. And then I was doing it for about 3 months and they called me into their office and said, you need to shut down your YouTube channel. And I was like, why do I need to shut down my YouTube channel? And they said, yeah. And I just go, well, no, if I have to choose my YouTube channel or working for you guys, I'm going to choose my YouTube channel. And they said, well, you signed an exclusive 2-year contract with us. And I said, well, yeah, exclusive to news. This isn't a conflict. And they said, well, what you're putting out is against our brand and it's affecting our relationships with sponsors or M&Ms or Twix or I don't know which actual brands. So they just basically said, shut up, don't post anymore, or we're going to sue you if you leave too. Like they were threatening to take me to court.
What? I didn't know all this.
Yeah. And their whole precedent was, because I was saying, if my channel's doing successful and I'm still showing up to work every day, how is that not doing good for you guys?
It's helping them because now you have a bigger audience.
But they just hated it because they thought that I was setting an example for their talent because they had set in stone with all of their talent that they could not have access to their personal channels, but they had given me a different contract because they had thought less of me. They were like, oh, he's never, so I wasn't actually, in my contract, I wasn't not allowed to do that. But then when I was just threatening to leave, they didn't want the other girls to know that they had different contracts with different talent. And they thought if they just let me go without a fight, then everyone would just leave without a fight. And then they'd have no talent and leave them with no Clever.
Wow.
So then I had never been more, because at that time I didn't have money to be sued. I mean, they paid me a good salary, but I didn't have money to like take them on in court.
Yeah.
So me just not showing up to work and standing my ground was so scary at the time. But Shane just, I mean, if I didn't have Shane, I wouldn't have been able to do it, but he was just championing me the whole time. He just said, there's nothing that they're going to do. They most likely won't sue you, but just keep on holding strong.
Oh my God. And so you were like basically without any job then?
Well, I had YouTube.
So how long, like, what is the time frame that you were making money off YouTube versus this happening?
So I had my channel for about 3 months once I started boycotting going to work because they told me I had to leave. But they were being very aggressive in their antics of trying to sue me.
Like doing what? Like, do they send you a letter from a lawyer ever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were just threatening all kinds of things and going to take me to court. And then, I mean, the contract was unclear. So if we went to court, it was like 60-40 that I would win. But if I didn't, then I was also responsible for their legal fees if they won. And so I'd be out a couple $100,000 if they won. But I mean, so what we settled on eventually is me being a part of their MCN, which is then... So, because were you ever with an MCN? Oh, you were with Style. Are you still with Style Hall?
No. They dropped my channel. I stopped making money.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
I made like $0 for like 6 months because they just were like, fuck your channel. Like,
are they out of business or did they just drop? Okay.
They like collapsed. So wait, so for you guys, if you guys don't know, MCNs are like, are they still around? Are you still with them?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
But MCMs are just the worst. I think they were basically essential before YouTubers had YouTube contacts or like for brand opportunities.
Well, I feel like I can say this now because Style Hall has collapsed, but my contract with Style Hall was I got 120% of my earnings. So basically, if my AdSense was $30,000, they would like add like another $15,000 to it.
Oh, and that's because... wow,
I don't
that's
know.
Crazy. So see, and that's why people would sign with them because they'd give crazy either signing bonuses or bonuses like that.
Well, I think they were taking from smaller channels, so they were like taking like the big channel. That's what I think it was. I think they were taking like 40% from smaller, and then like the bigger channels. Like I know one channel, I won't say who, but I know one channel was getting 150% of his earnings.
Whoa!
It was weird, and I was like, how is that even possible? Like that was so. So for me, I was living large. I mean, that was my biggest. But yeah, I guess MCN's like is basically was like a setup to like we'll give you brand deals, we'll connect you with people. Like it was that kind of thing. And people, like you said early on in YouTube, I feel like didn't really know.
And now I feel like brands and everything comes directly to creators now. If they want to work with you,
So
they'll
much
figure
better.
out how to find you. But so their whole deal, it ended up being fine for me because they did direct sales. So instead of giving me like 130% of my ad rev, they would sell ads where YouTube didn't. So like YouTube only sell if like sometimes YouTube doesn't put an ad in front of your video.
Right.
So they would pick up for where they didn't because they had a direct sales team. It's very confusing. You guys are probably bored.
No, that's interesting though. I didn't know they did that.
And so then I would get a check quarterly that would, even though they took 10% of my channel, I would make it back up. So whatever. But then when they flopped, Defy folded as a company.
Yes, I remember this.
Clever was no longer. They essentially tried to take 2 months of every creator's earnings because they waited until after YouTube had paid out and then folded as a company.
What? Where'd that money go though?
Well, still to this day, nobody knows. It went toward, so like my AdSense, my personal AdSense that they have no reason to have went towards their debts as a company.
Oh my God. So you never got those 2 months, you still never got?
Well, so YouTube demanded that they like, it's very confusing how YouTube and MCMs work, but YouTube jumped in for the second month and directed all payments to creators. So I missed the first month